Good afternoon, everyone. I want to specially thank Dr. Onuoha Nnachi, the convener of the Infrastructure Dialogue 2026. I would like to thank him for this great privilege. I have 3 ideas to share in the next 20 minutes, so I will just jump right into it. Some years back, I was in a hotel in Benue State, Makurdi to be precise. And when I stepped out of the hotel, I saw an Indian man. And I asked that, who is this man? And they said that was the manager of the hotel. And I was wondering that, is there no one in Benue State that could manage this hotel? That the flight distance from Abuja to Mumbai is approximately 7,102 kilometers. If you want to fly to India now, it will take you over 14 hours. So I was wondering, the owner, the entrepreneur in Benue State had to travel over 14 hours to get someone to manage his hotel. Recently, the CEO of MoneyPoint, Tosin, recently sparked a massive conversation at the platform Nigeria regarding the state of talent in the country. He stated that despite having over 500 vacancies at MoneyPoint, the company is struggling to fill them because many Nigerian applicants do not meet global standards of quality and quantity. He spoke about the global standard gap. We've also heard of how Dangote has employed over 11,000 Indians and Chinese workers. I think that the reliance on foreigners is a wake-up call to Nigerians to upgrade our citizens to international standards. And we can learn from other countries their models, especially the Lee Kuan Yew Singapore model, of how his country was actively constructed to have skilled and employable citizens. Singapore is purpose-built to be a talent pipe for multinational corporations. Singapore will align their education with targeted industries. Singapore forged a deep institutional partnership between industry and education. In Singapore, the Institute of Technical Education System is built with direct industry input. Another country that we can learn from is South Korea. South Korea, the government has what is called the Quick Start program that trains their workers for the specific needs for foreign investment before the factories are even completed. That means if they have any FDA in South Korea, before that factory is completed, the factory will have to come up with a curriculum, and the citizens will be trained so that when that factory is completed, the citizens will be the one to be employed. The truth is that Nigerians are very hardworking. But hard work alone is a bad strategy. Our leaders need to be more strategic on how we can bridge the global standard gap. You see, when it comes to re-elections, our leaders are very strategic. And I think it's high time that they also make that transition, not just for election, but they should use that strategy on how they can better the country of Nigeria. Nigeria must move from a system of isolated theoretical learning to a deeply integrated model where companies like MoneyPoint and Dangote can be formally embedded in curriculum design, certification, and training delivery. And that is my first idea. My second idea, I want to ask a question. How many of you have been to Mr. Biggs this year? By raise of hands. Is there anybody who has been to Mr. Biggs this year? Now, if you have gray hair like me, you know that there's a time when the only fast food in town was Mr. Biggs. Maybe the Gen Z may not know Mr. Biggs, but there was a time that the only fast food restaurant was what? Mr. Biggs. So what were the core reasons for the decline of Mr. Biggs? And this second idea brings me to my main topic, which is sustainable innovation. Number one, I'm using this example not to make jest of their fall, because I'm an entrepreneur and I know how terrible it can be when you have invested everything into your business and it begins to decline. Based on my research, I discovered that one of the reasons that Mr. Big's decline, or most of you cannot even see it today, is number one, franchise-led quality erosion. They really wanted to expand quickly, and Mr. Biggs adopted a franchise model which led to a disastrous, inconsistent quality. That means that you can go to a Mr. Big in another town, and the moi moi and the rice that you eat will have a different quality from the one in Abuja. The next reason is stiff and modern competition. The competition became fierce that local brands like Chicken Republic and international giants like KFC were offering superior menus and digital experience, and Mr. Big struggled to adapt against these modern, consistent competitions. Just like Charles Darwin said, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most adaptable to change. To survive in business, you must be adaptable to change. And one of the major reasons that Mr. Biggs came down is the failure to innovate. As competitors evolve with modern branding and digital engagement, Mr. Biggs felt outdated and stale. And so if your business is going to remain relevant, you must adopt what I call sustainable innovation. And sustainable innovations are innovations to the improvement of existing solutions to the market. So it means that for you to remain relevant, you must keep improving the services and the product that you're giving to the people in the market. So there's a difference between market-creating innovations and sustainable innovations. Market-creating innovations are when you come up with a new idea that has to create a new market. For example, if you have an iPhone, the original iPhone, the first iPhone, is what is called the market-creating innovation. But iPhone 7 Pro Max is what is called sustaining innovation. So for a business to remain relevant, you must always be coming up with innovative ways. You must always be improving the services and the product that you're giving to people. Because if there is no improvement, just a matter of time, you will be kicked out of the market. The iron law of the market is very unforgiving. If you don't have anything valuable to offer, the market will kick you out. Toyota is a typical example. Toyota has over 1 million improvements in a year. I didn't say 1,000, 1 million improvement in a year. And they have been able to do that because they have allowed their employees to make suggestions. So that means in Toyota, it is not those at the top of the echelon that are innovative. Even the lowest floor employee has the freedom and autonomy to contribute to the innovative improvement of Toyota. And that is why Toyota has been able to have over 1 million improvement in their vehicles. And that's why I think most of you here have Toyotas. Every employee in Toyota is expected to think. Every worker can suggest improvement in Toyota. And they have small daily innovations which are valued. Continuous improvement becomes a lifestyle. And in Japanese, that is what is called Kaizen, the Kaizen system. Unlike many companies where innovation is left only to executives, Toyota democratized innovation. I want to ask a question. How many of you have a Samsung phone here? If you have a Samsung phone, can you raise your hands? Okay. Now, do you know that Samsung, some of you may have the television, the fridge, but do you know that in 1938, Samsung actually started by selling dried fish? Samsung started their business by selling dried fish and vegetables and flour. That was the business that it started. But through market-creating innovations, sustaining innovations, they'll be able to evolve to the Samsung that we have today. And through innovation, that's the power of innovation. The total revenue of Samsung today is $220 million. $220 million from selling dried fish. And that means wherever you are today, I don't know what you're selling. It may be kwese, it may be moi moi, but guess what? Tomorrow, you may be inventing an aeroplane. Because with innovation, it's not how you start, but as long as you are creative, that starting point will just be your stepping stone. The budget that they have for research and development in Samsung is $12.7 billion. Now, imagine that the revenue that comes to Samsung from a business that started by selling dried fish is $220 million. A business. Now, what is the nominal GPA figure for South Africa this year, May 26? The nominal GDP figure for South Africa is $479.9 billion. Nigeria GDP is $337 billion. Kenya is $147 billion. Ghana is $118. Now, a business, a single business, its revenue is more than the GPA of Ghana and Kenya. The annual allocations to the 36 states in Nigeria is 7.2 billion. It's estimated to 7.2 billion. That's the annual allocation to 36 states in Nigeria is 7.2 billion naira. That is $5.2 billion. Now, if Samsung, as a business who have been able to come this far through innovation, decides to be generous and say, you know what, I'm going to use $200 billion from our annual revenue to actually fund Nigeria state. Samsung can literally fund the allocation to 36 states in Nigeria for over 38 years. A business through innovation has grown so strong that they are literally stronger than nations, and they can literally fund the statutory allocation to Nigeria for 38 years and 1 month. So I'm here to say that innovation is very powerful, and what makes a country great is the power of market creating innovation. And for businesses, you have to also understand that there are certain models of your business that can change. If your business is struggling, maybe it may be that the model that you're using is not good. If you remember, when Cowbell came into Nigeria, Cowbell was the first to start the sachet milk. And when Cowbell came out with the sachet milk, other companies realized that if we don't follow suit, this company will kick us out. Because according to research, NDIC report in recent years that 99.4% of the total depositors in Nigeria have less than 500,000 naira in their bank account, according to NDIC. Less than 1% of the total accounts in Nigeria have over 500,000 in their bank account. What that means is that a model like Cowbell that sells in sachet will be able to serve more people than, if I ask any of you here, when was the last time you literally bought maybe pig milk in a tin? If you're honest with me, many of us are buying things in sachet. Are we together? And I'm saying this to say that you have to design the model of your business with the kind of market share that you have and the people that you have in your market. That is what is called the 98-2 rule. 98-2 rule. The 98-2 rule suggests that 98% of the total funds in the banking system are owned by just 2% of the account owners. That means you have to come up with a business. Is your business model going to serve the 2% that owns 98% of the resources? Or is your business model going to serve the 98% that has only 2% of the resources? Because you can have a business model that is targeted at the 2%. And I'm telling you that if you have a business that deals with a high ticket, there are certain businesses that when they have a customer in May, the year has ended for them. Are we together? There are some businesses that don't need high traffic. Just one customer, two customers in a year. They will celebrate their Christmas in June while you're waiting for Christmas in December. There are businesses that their Christmas starts in June because the customer that they are dealing with are the 2%. Are we together? So you need to look at your business model. Are you going to do subscription? Are you going to come up with a with a model that can serve the people that you're targeting. Toyota became one of the world's most respected companies because it institutionalized sustainable innovation, continuous improvement, employee-driven innovation, and everyday problem solving. So a lesson to the CEOs are, sustainable greatness is not built by one big innovation alone, but by millions of small improvements consistently executed over time. Now to my final idea. You see, 80% of employments are actually conducted by SMEs. And that means what makes a country great, the days of when most of the employments are by the government, those days are over. Any country that is going to be great are countries that have SMEs, enabling environment for small business and entrepreneurs to strive. Market creating innovation is the sure way for a country to develop, because market creating innovations is what creates new markets. Market creating innovations collectively serve as a foundation for many of today's wealthy economies and have left millions of people out of poverty in the process. When you talk about the great men that built America, those men were not generals, they were entrepreneurs. It is entrepreneurs that build nations. Are we together? Because market creating innovations create jobs. Creates jobs because when you have a new idea, you need people to make, to market, to distribute, and to sell those new ideas. How many of you know a company called Tolaram Group? Tolaram Group, by raise of hand. Do you know Tolaram Groups? Okay, how many of you know Indomie? Now, Tolaram Groups is the company that produces Indomie. And that's a typical example of a market creating innovation. They came into Nigeria in 1988, and the last time I checked, this years back, their statistics, just that one company has employed over 8,500 Nigerians. The total jobs that that company has created in this economy is 42,000. The staff income that they pay annually is 7.6 billion. Do you know how many families? You know, in Nigeria, when one man has a job, 10 people have been taken out of poverty because of the way we live in Nigeria. Are we together? So imagine that this company pays income, annual income, 7.6 billion. The government revenue, the resources that the government gets from this company is 4.5 billion annually. The number of trucks and vehicles that they have is 1,000. So you can imagine how many drivers they have. And they have over 600,000 retailers. I'm telling you, the way forward for any country to become developed and great is through entrepreneurs. When a country is enabling and is supporting entrepreneurs, that is a country that really loves the citizen. That is a country that is doing everything to make sure that the citizens are employed. Because 80% of those who will be employed by SMEs. Now, as I close, back to my story in Benue State. There are actually 3 personalities that make a business successful. For any business to be successful, there are 3 personalities that you need. Number 1, you need an entrepreneur. Number 2, you need a manager. And number 3, you need a technician. These are the 3 personalities that will ensure that a business will succeed. One thing I know is that Nigerians are great entrepreneurs. But from my own personal observations, we don't make good managers in many cases. And I say this to say that wisdom dictates that sometimes you need to know where your strength is, where your competitive advantage is, and stay on your lane. To be honest, there's nothing wrong in employing someone from India to come and manage your business. If you have discovered that your strength is to be an entrepreneur and you don't have those technical skills and you don't have the managerial skills, there is nothing wrong in getting someone to fill up that space. Many businesses in Nigeria will not succeed because the owners want to be the entrepreneur, wants to be the manager, and wants to be the technician. It's about time that we stay on our lane, find out what you're good at, and partner with somebody or employ somebody who can fill in that gap. The world is now a global village, so there's nothing wrong in getting Indians and Chinese people to work for you. But the most important thing is that know where you are strong in and stay on your lane. Thank you for your time.